Thank you, Presiding Officer. I welcome the opportunity to speak in this debate and congratulate Rhoda Grant on securing it. I will be brief in my remarks today, and I support Rhoda Grant's motion and completely agree with her that mobile banking services are highly important. She has highlighted very well the issues faced in remote and rural areas. And the decision by Bank of Scotland to remove mobile banking services will leave many people in some of our most remote and rural communities, including across Dumfries and Galloway in my South Scotland region, without direct access to banking. It is also clear that the decision will disproportionately affect elderly people and disabled people, and I join Rhoda Grant and others in calling on the Bank of Scotland to again revisit this decision and ensure that people in rural areas are not penalised. Presiding Officer, I've been contacted by many constituents who are extremely concerned over the withdrawal of the Bank of Scotland services across Dumfries and Galloway, including the mobile branch services. Constituents report that they feel that this is a betrayal of the promise that was made by Bank of Scotland when they previously closed branches, citing that mobile services would be made available. The withdrawal of services will leave many older and vulnerable people, including those who do not and cannot use online banking, without access to the services. And mobile branches were introduced in many areas facing the closure of traditional bank branches, and they visit fortnightly to many communities. And the Bank of Scotland say that most people use the service to pay cash in or out. That shows that these mobile branches are incredibly important. The services are vital for these communities who have already suffered from many closures, and we are seeing this in towns across Dumfries and Galloway. Connectivity also remains a major issue for many people living in rural and remote parts of Dumfries and Galloway. And for example, if a constituent in Wigtown or Whithorn is forced to travel to Newton Stewart to bank, it is an hour round trip. And if a constituent does not have a car, it's a 3-hour round trip after taking into account the infrequency of local buses. And banks must treat people in rural areas with equity of services and, above all, respect. And as I've indicated, mobile branches were already a compromise, and there are issues around their accessibility, and Rhoda Grant has highlighted that as well. One example was my mum couldn't manage onto the mobile the service. She couldn't manage the steps, and she was told to bank on the pavement. I mean, that is just incredibly unbelievable when she told me that. So I've written to Bank of Scotland Public Affairs with my constituents' concerns, and I've requested an urgent meeting with them to discuss how they will support people from rural areas to access lifeline banking services. Presiding Officer, in closing, again, I did say this would be short from me. I support Rhoda Grant's motion, and I call on the Bank of Scotland to revisit this decision. Thank you very much.